Hey, Ed here from Precision Gun Reviews, and today we have another review for you. This time it's the TriStar C-100, a alloy-framed compact pistol. It is a hammer-fired design based on the CZ75. It has a double-action, single-action trigger with a manual safety. This trigger does do double action, but there's no decocker. The single action pull and the double action pull. So really it's meant to be carried cocked and locked, but it has restrike capability. It is 7.2 inches long, about 5 inches tall, and about 1.25 inches wide, not counting the little controls on the side, but it's 1.25 inches wide. Comparing it to something we all know, this is my favorite gun to compare these compact guns to. This is a compact polymer pistol, the M&P 9C. You can see that with the extended pinky grip, it is about the same size. It's a little bit longer than the M&P 9C, 7.2 inches versus 6.7 inches, and just a little bit taller. The M&P 9C comes in at 4.3, then with the extension it's a little bit longer, not quite the length of the 5 inches, and then here you see they are essentially the same width, about 1.2 inches wide. And that's just a quick comparison to see the size in general. The difference is we have this in-frame slide design that is common of all CZs, and it does have an alloy frame. This gun weighs about 24 ounces and has a capacity of 15 plus 1. It is a double stack magazine from Mekgar, very high quality steel magazine with a plastic base plate. It comes with 2 magazines in the box. Talking about ergonomics, you have one of the most classic designs and, in my opinion, the most comfortable that there is. The CZ75 grip shape is absolutely perfect, and this updated TriStar C-100 has included a new pair of grip panels that have a groove for your thumb and the pad of your hand that make it really nice to grip onto, even better than before. And the grip itself is contoured for the palm of your hand, and the front of the grip has these vertical grooves for better purchase, and it absolutely feels wonderful. You can see that the side panels are stippled nicely to keep the gun locked in place in your hand. Taking a look at the sights, you have traditional 3-dot sights. They're a little small, but they give a good sight picture. The trigger is a steel trigger, and it's all one piece, and it's not too extremely curved, just enough to feel nice on the front pad of your finger. Taking a look at the magazine release, we have a steel magazine release. Nice size, protrudes well but doesn't get in the way, and when actuated, it really fires these mags out, so there's no worry about any hang-ups in this gun. These double stack mags go in and out of the gun very nicely, so quick reloads all around. The safety, another steel component, easy to actuate, easy to reach. It's not too stiff, and it doesn't get bumped either, so it's just the perfect amount of resistance on that safety, and you cannot rack the slide with the safety on. We want to look back at this trigger pull. We're looking at the single action trigger. There's a little bit of empty take up there, then a nice short break. We will rack the slide and check out this reset. It's not a terribly long reset, but it's not super short. For a budget gun like this, it's wonderful. The double action pull is much longer. I wouldn't say that it's rough, but I also wouldn't say that it's very smooth. It's not a car trigger, but it's also not gonna kill you to pull this in double action. Now let's take a quick look at field strip and disassembly, and we'll take a look at the internals of the gun. What you want to do first is line up these two hash marks between the slide and the frame, and a trick to do that is to pull this hammer, but you can't do it with the safety on, so we turn the safety off, pull the hammer back to this half-cock position. The slide comes right back to these two hash marks lining up. You can press out the slide stop pin very easily from the right side of the gun, unlike some other weapons where you have to use a hammer basically, and then pull it out from this side. Set that aside, and now the slide will easily come off the front of the gun just like that. There you see the first look at those internal slide rails. The slide is designed much like the CZ75. This is a CZ75 clone, to have these in-frame slide rails. So the rails are on the slide and the internal rails are on the frame, as opposed to the internal rails being on the slide and the external rails being on the frame. And this goes the full length of the pistol for a very tight fitment and help with accuracy, keeping the gun aligned. Taking a look at this recoil spring, you have a braided design. It's very interesting. I'm not exactly 100% sure why they went with that braid, but I would presume that that makes for a stronger coil in the long run. And of course, that is riding on a steel guide rod. Let's take a look at the barrel. Just like the CZ75, which it copies, it employs a Browning style lockup and a linkless camming action. The integral feed ramp on the barrel is nicely smoothed out, does the trick. I haven't had any failures to feed with this gun. Traditional rifling. And if you take a look at the inside of this slide, you'll notice that everything is very clean. The finish is excellent. There's no tooling marks, no rough edges. Really nice. These guns are manufactured to NATO spec. They're production guns, and they can all be interchanged. See the external extractor here. And the top of the slide has this groove pattern between the sights to reduce glare off the top of your slide when you're trying to line up a shot. And reassembly, we'll just put this barrel back, falls right into place, and stick the spring in. It's not the toughest spring ever, and it lines right up to this little notch in that cam section of the barrel. Slide everything back on easily. Pull it back to the point where you can insert your slide stop pin. You'll see that cam right through there. Pop it in and line up the other half. It snaps into place. Very simple, and the gun's back together. Rack that slide and it's ready to function. One thing I didn't mention a little earlier is that this is a non-ambidextrous pistol. Those controls you see on the left side of the gun are not duplicated on the right side of the gun. And I should have mentioned that those grip panels are of a hard polymer that are very snag-free. They won't catch on clothing or anything. I should also mention one drawback of this in-frame slide design, and that is that there isn't as much real estate for you to get a good grip on when you are racking the slide. It does help that, unlike something like the Jericho or Baby Eagle, this has the safety on the frame as opposed to the slide, so you can at least grab onto it. It's not terrible, and the ease with which you can pull the slide back is helpful. Another thing of note is that because it has an alloy frame and this slide is so low profile, you'll find that unlike polymer pistols like the M&P, it will be a more balanced gun in hand. You'll have more weight down in your hand and less floating above your hand. so you'll be able to hold on target easier. It may be imperceptible, but if you pay attention, you can feel the difference, and you can feel that a polymer gun will have a little bit more wobble to it because it's top heavy, whereas this gun is balanced much, much better. Now, the last thing we like to talk about is reliability of any handgun, especially a self-defense handgun. And the TriStar C-100, it is, it's based off of a very proven design. This is a gun that has been around since 1975 for all intents and purposes, and has been used in more police forces and military forces around the world, outside of America. We tend to think of Glock as being king because that's what we use most here. But the CZ75 has a long and storied history, and it has been proven for decades as a reliable design and a functional and successful design. So this modern clone inherits all of the benefits of the CZ pattern pistol, and I can't recommend this gun enough. This is actually one of my favorites here at PGR headquarters. The C100 is great. The compact size works very well, and the design itself makes for a good shooting gun and a well-carrying gun. Maybe if you don't like the safety, the manual safety, rather than a decock or a striker fire, double action only, it might be a reason to not carry it. But I would only let that deter you if you're not interested in that manual of arms. Otherwise, this is a fine pistol. We give it a full recommendation. There's very little to say bad about the TriStar C-100. That's about it. Oh, the price. So here's the kicker. You get all that at a price of around $350 to $375, depending on the finish, either this black or the chrome. So that's basically unbeatable when you get a gun of this quality for that price. So the TriStar C-100 definitely gets our highest recommendation. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks for watching. This is Ed with Precision Gun Reviews. If you like videos like this, please do give us a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to get all of our future videos coming right to you. Until next time, stay safe.